I thought my roommate Daniel was just a little weird at first, the kind of person who sticks to routines a bit too strictly, waking up every single day at exactly 7:12 a.m., sitting on the edge of his bed for a few seconds before moving, making the same coffee with 2 sugars like it was programmed. But the more I lived with him, the more it started to feel less like habit and more like repetition, like he wasn't choosing to do these things, but following something he already knew would happen. The first time it really hit me was when I dropped a glass in the kitchen, and before it even slipped from my hand, he said, "Careful," in a way that didn't sound like a guess, more like a warning. And when it shattered exactly a second later, he didn't react, just said, "It always happens around now," which made no sense at the time, but stuck in my head. After that, I started noticing everything, how he knew exactly when the neighbor's dog would bark, when the mail would arrive, when a professor would cancel class before any announcement was made, and it stopped feeling like coincidence and started feeling like he had already seen it all before. The moment I couldn't ignore it anymore was when we were crossing the street and he suddenly grabbed my arm and pulled me back just before a car sped past where I would have been standing. And when I asked how he knew, he didn't answer right away, just looked tired in a way I couldn't explain and said quietly, "So it's happening again." And that's when I knew something was seriously wrong. That night I confronted him, and after a long silence he said something that sounded insane but didn't feel like a joke. "I've lived this day before." And when I didn't respond, he added, "Not once, not twice, hundreds of times," explaining that every time he goes to sleep, he wakes up to the same day again, same conversations, same events, same outcomes unless something small changes, and somehow those small changes mattered. At first, I didn't want to believe him, but everything I had seen started lining up too perfectly to ignore. And over the next few days, I began noticing the patterns myself, the way people repeated the same lines, the same events happening at the same time, like the day was stuck on a loop and Daniel was the only one aware of it. Eventually, I stopped doubting him and started helping him, testing different choices, changing small decisions to see what would break the pattern. And for days, nothing worked until one night we did something he had never tried before. We stayed out past midnight, breaking the routine completely, and for the first time since I had known him, the day didn't reset. Morning came like a normal morning, a new day, and Daniel just sat there in silence before laughing in a way I had never heard before. Not controlled, not quiet, but real, like someone who had finally escaped something no one else could see. And that's when I realized that sometimes people aren't strange for no reason. Sometimes they're just living through something you can't even begin to understand. And the scariest part isn't that it sounds impossible. It's how real it feels once you start noticing the patterns yourself.